Hey guys, so I didn't think this last semester of PT school was gonna be busy, but it turned out to be pretty busy. So that's why I haven't been making a video, but now I finally have a chance. Let's get started. So about 2 weeks ago, I went to Universal Studios in Orlando for the very first time. It was with Ryan, George, Maggie, Jillian. It was George's first time as well. If you know me, I'm actually afraid of a lot of things, including roller coasters. They told me that it was going to be a lot of 3D, 4D rides, which would be fun, and I do enjoy those. So the very first ride we went together on was the Minion ride, and it was actually a 4D ride, and I enjoyed that one. It was pretty chill. And then the second ride we went on was the Mummy. If you've ever been to Universal Studios, you know the Mummy was definitely not a 4D ride. So they were lying to me the whole time. I was like, what is this ride? Is it gonna be like a 4D ride like the Minion that we just went on? And then they're like, yeah, for sure. And then next thing I knew, I was strapped down on the roller coaster. The attendant was like, you need to take your hat off. And I was like, what? Hat off for this? And then I thought we were just going like coasting around. I still didn't know what was going on until I was on the ride and the door opened and it was pitch black and I was like, oh crap, there's gonna be a drop. And that's the main reason I hate roller coasters. I don't like experiencing the drop. The Transformers ride was probably my favorite, and we went on a couple other ones, can't remember right now. But yeah, Harry Potter, it was good, it was fun. Actually the Harry Potter one was kind of scary too. There was like a drop, like a mini drop in the beginning. Overall, a good time. Okay, so now let's talk about school. In applied clinical reasoning, we're going over a lot of case studies on neuro patients, ortho patients, but usually with atypical presentations, so it's a little more complicated cases. And so the case is like a page in the beginning, and we get boxes we have to fill out. So these boxes are basically like a whole process that we go through as physical therapists, starting with the examination, and then we pick the 3 top choices we want to do. Like, do we want to examine their strength, their range of motion, or neurological exam? And we always have to provide a rationale. So that's like the word of the semester, a reason for why we're doing certain things. Next box is problem list. We come up with a list of problems that the patient is experiencing, like decreased range of motion, decreased strength, any gait deviations, decreased balance, stuff like that. And then next is physical therapy diagnosis, like generalized weakness, gait abnormality, and decreased range of motion in the wrist and the elbow, and always providing rationale as well. And then PT prognosis. So for prognosis, we usually write like the patient has poor, fair, or good prognosis in order to return to prior level of function, return to home, return to whatever independently within like 6 weeks or so, and then always tying in positive factors, negative factors that help us with coming up with that conclusion. And then we have goals. We come up with 3 top prioritized goals, making sure they're measurable, specific, relevant, stuff like that. And then plan of care with intervention, frequency, durations. We want the patient should be seen 3 times a week for 6 weeks, and providing rationale as to why. And then the last box is intervention, like a couple of interventions you would do with them on the first day. And yeah, just going through the whole thought process and everything is it's kind of challenging at times, but I think it will be very helpful for us. And as for prosthetics and orthotics, we've been focusing on the prosthetics and learning about the different levels of amputation, mainly focusing on transfemoral, above knee, or transtibial, below knee amputations, since they're usually the most common. We also learned about the components of the prosthetics, and we practiced wrapping residual limbs, and we just had a practical. Real amputee patients came in, and we, as a group, we went through the whole examination process again, quick history, finding out their deficits, impairments, and then just treating them, which was a very good experience, a hands-on experience, and interaction with the amputees. I've learned a lot about like basic prosthetic care, and the importance of correct fitting prosthetics. as for intervention, there's lots of strengthening, stretching you can do for the residual limb, even if they haven't been fitted for prosthetic. And with their prosthetic on, you can work on balance, gait, and functional activity, squatting, sit to stand, and a lot of things. And next, neuromuscular 2. We've been going over different disorders, diseases like peripheral nerve injuries, Guillain-Barré syndrome, diabetic-related peripheral polyneuropathy, ALS, TBI, traumatic brain injury, and multiple sclerosis. Focusing on those diseases and kind of going over what causes them, their pathophysiology, and their common signs and symptoms, clinical presentations, if they have motor loss, sensory loss, or what kind of patterns of sensory loss, and if they have progressive atrophy and spasticity and all that stuff. Also learning about the tests and measures of some of the disorders and what tests to administer to diagnose the disease or to categorize them, the severity of the disease, and then also learning about some basic treatments, some interventions you can do with them based on what deficits they have. Oh, we also had a session where we had patients with multiple sclerosis come in, and we once again took them through a whole examination, treatment, gave them a home exercise program. I think all these real patient lab activities are really helpful. And for business, we've been going over like market plan and a couple other things. But for business, our main thing is we have like a Shark Tank project. We have to do a presentation where we, as a group, come up with a startup idea, like PT clinic with a specialty or something, and then we present it to a panel of judges and as a presentation toward the end of the semester. So that's kind of like what's been going on in business. And but that's about it for the updates on this semester, and hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.